Dear brothers and sisters, we all do dhikr. We move our lips. We count our beads. We recite our morning and evening adhkar. But the great master, Muhyiddin Ibn Arabi, may Allah have mercy on his soul, asked a question that shakes the very foundation of our spiritual practice. Is your heart doing dhikr, or is only your tongue busy? Because the dhikr of the tongue is sound, but the dhikr of the heart is existence itself. Ibn Arabi, in his monumental work al-Futuhat al-Makkiyya, describes dhikr not merely as repetition of words, but as a state of being. He divides dhikr into three levels. The first is the dhikr of the tongue. This is where every seeker begins. The tongue moves, the name of Allah is spoken. This is the door, not the destination. It is necessary, but incomplete on its own. The second is the dhikr of the heart. This is where the real journey begins. The heart is no longer a passive listener to the tongue. It becomes the source of remembrance. Ibn Arabi says, the true dhikr is when the heart beats with his name, not because you commanded it, but because it has forgotten how to beat without him. At this stage, even in sleep, even in silence, the heart is alive with his remembrance. The third is the dhikr of the sirr, the secret. This is the station beyond the heart, the innermost reality of the human being. Here the distinction between the one who remembers and the one being remembered begins to dissolve. This is not pantheism. This is fana, the annihilation of the ego in the ocean of divine awareness. Ibn Arabi draws from the famous Ayat an-Nur, the verse of light, Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. He explains that this light is not external, it is not waiting outside the door of your chest, it is already within you. But the heart has layers, layers of heedlessness, of sin, of attachment to the dunya. These layers are like dust on a mirror. The dhikr of the heart is the act of polishing that mirror. Every time your heart says Allah, not just your lips, one layer of dust is removed. And slowly, gradually, the mirror of the heart begins to reflect what it was always meant to reflect, the light of the divine. Ibn Arabi says in Fusus al-Hikam, the heart of the true believer is the throne of the All-Merciful, not because God is contained in the heart, but because the heart, when purified, becomes the only mirror wide enough to reflect his infinite attributes. Ibn Arabi teaches that the human heart is not naturally dark, it is naturally luminous. But three veils cover it. The first is the veil of ghafla, heedlessness. When we live our days without awareness of Allah, the heart grows cold and forgets why it was created. The second is the veil of shahwa, desire. When the heart runs after the world, it becomes attached to what is temporary, and temporary things cannot carry eternal light. The third is the veil of the ego, the nafs. Ibn Arabi says the nafs always says I, and every time it says I, it places itself between the heart and Allah. Dhikr of the heart is the sword that cuts through all three veils. Ibn Arabi also gives us a practical path. Begin with the tongue, but with full presence. When you say Allah, mean it. Feel the weight of that name land in your chest, not just leave your lips. Then breathe with his name, the inhalation as awareness of his presence, the exhalation as the release of everything that is not him. Guard the heart between the sessions, because the real test is what your heart thinks about when you are alone, when no one is watching. And finally, seek sacred company. The heart catches light from other illuminated hearts, the way one candle lights another. Ibn Arabi describes what happens when the heart is truly alive with dhikr. The person begins to see with nur, divine light. Not with the physical eye, but with what he calls the eye of the heart, ayn al-qalb. They see events not just as events but as signs. They see the world not as an obstacle to God, but as a manifestation of God's beauty. This is what Ibn Arabi means when he says, wherever you turn, there is the face of Allah. My dear friends, Ibn Arabi did not teach us to escape this world. He taught us to see through it. The dhikr of the heart is not a ritual. It is a revolution of perception, of awareness, of being. Start today, not with a louder voice, but with a more present heart. Because Allah does not need to hear your voice. He wants to feel your heart turning toward Him. And the moment your heart truly turns, you will not need to search for the light anymore. The light will find you. Ameen.